All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is the Founder of Israel's Bible Studies program, and as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. Now, you guys, you've all heard of, you need to watch your words, or that you want to, or that we're going to be judged by every idle word. Excuse me, I was kind of getting tripped up there, but nonetheless, sometimes we like to say things, and this lesson is kind of similar to a lesson I did before. It's just titled "Shut Up," but this is not exactly the same. But it is going to be dealing with the words we speak, right? Whether it's it's a vow, a promise, or whatever. Every little idle word that we say, and sometimes we think that it doesn't mean anything, and sometimes we think that well, I'm gonna say what I got to say. I just want to keep it real, and things of that nature. But this lesson is going to focus on giving an account, right? Giving an account of what the things that we're saying and the words that come out of our mouth, how important that is. See, a lot of us, we don't, we sometimes we don't give a whole lot of weight to it. We don't get the gravitas of the situation when we just start saying things, right? So we want to keep that in mind. And so this lesson is to remind each and every one of us that what we say matters. It counts. It means something. We can't just say just anything, right? I mean, sometimes people, they're running around, they're doing false teaching, false doctrines, they're blaspheming, different things like that. And they think it doesn't matter. But it does. It actually does. And some people, they're so brazen. Hey, I say what I said. It's what I said. I'm going to speak my mind. I got to keep it real and all that other stuff, right? Okay, that's going to count. And then when we stand in a day of judgment, remember to keep that same energy, okay? You want to say what you want to say. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to consider the words that are falling out of your face hole. Keep that same energy. Okay, in a day of judgment, because Messiah, Mashiach said, we're gonna have to give an account for every idle word. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. All right, you want to say what you gotta say? Okay, fine. Let's go to the New Testament. Let's jump right into the lesson right now. Let's go to Matthew. I'm gonna be reading out of the King James. So we're gonna go to Matthew 12. Let's go to Matthew 12, if you will. Matthew 12. When we do that, we're going to go 33 to 37. Matthew 12, 33, and we'll stop at 37. It says, either make the tree be good and its fruit good, or else make the tree corrupt and its fruit corrupt. For the tree is known by its fruit. O generation of vipers, how can ye, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by the words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. Okay? Depends on what is your confession, what is your profession, right? What are you professing with your mouth? What are you saying? See, you got a lot of people running around just saying anything they want, flying off at the mouth, being, just a little flip it at the mouth. And some people, they have great elocution. Some people can wax poetically. But it only matters if what they're saying is true. That's what matters. It only matters if what they're saying is true. If what they say edifies. If what they say warns. But it's true. But people, they will not watch their mouth. You and I, let's not be like them. Let's watch our mouth. Okay? Let's just keep that in mind. We're Matthew. Let's drop back to 5. Chapter 5. Matthew, we're still in Matthew, but we're going to drop back to chapter 5. When we do that, we're going to read 21 and 22. Matthew 5, verse 21, 22. 21 says this. Yeah, ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raha, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Shall say, right? So, we can't just run around and just idly just throw around, fool this, fool that, and all that. And we want to look through these words. As a matter of fact, hold on, let me see Raha real quick. Let's look at that. We're at Matthew 5 and 22. Let's go there. Matthew 5, 22. 5 and 22. All right, and let's see what it says. Okay. Raka, all right, it's Aramaic. Empty, senseless, empty-headed man, a term, like a fool. Okay, a reproach used among the Jews in the time of, okay, it's a reproach. It's a bad, it's a bad word. It's worthless. We have a lot of words like that. But it means worthless, okay? All right, so he's just saying, watch it, okay? Watch your mouth. If you say that, you're going to be in danger of judgment, in danger of hellfire. Are you sure? We want to go around and say all these disparaging names and things like that to one another. Gonna have to give an account of that. Did you say that out of your feelings, or did you say it because it's actually true? Let's think about that for a second. Okay? Let's keep that in mind. Let's think about that for a second. We just gotta walk it. It's about self-control, right? It is about self-control. Let's go to James. James chapter 3. James chapter 3. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Verse 1 says this. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all, and if any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horses of mouths, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, and yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasted great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and set it on fire, the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea is tamed, and has been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Doth the fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? And can a fig tree, my brethren, bring olive berries, either of vine, figs? So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh. Now, let me ask you, brothers and sisters, comment down below. Have you been on social media and you see some brothers and sisters with one hand, and they're saying nice, sweet things, cool, all praises to the Most High, hallelujah, all that. You guys know our normal nomenclature, right? Oh, mishpachah and ak and all this other stuff, right? All nice and all that. And then on other posts later, the other post, then you're going to have them, and they are just cussing up a storm. Sweet water, bitter water, right? Just going crazy, going off, right? That's why I tend to try to, tame my tongue as much as I can. That's why I use alternative to these curse words, right? But I try to change my tongue. Now, I'm not saying, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying if I stub my toe in the night, something else ain't going to come out of my mouth. But it shouldn't be a normal practice that we sound like sailors at recess. We really should try to watch our mouth. I'm not saying, oh, saying a few cuss words, oh, that's just the worst thing in the world. But I'm just saying, should we not take inventory of the words that we use? How are we going to worship a clean, a holy, a set apart Yah with a dirty, filthy mouth? Now, what we got to understand is that now some people, I know people take liberty with a bunch of curse words and things like that. But here's the thing. Is it a limited vocabulary? Is it lack of self-control? What is it? Why must we constantly use these words? Why must we constantly use foul language? I'm not saying, oh, no foul language has ever been spoken, but I'm just saying, why don't we take inventory of ourselves and ask ourselves, okay, what am I saying this out of sheer emotion? Or maybe I say it and I'm not mad. That's just how we talk. That's how I was raised. That's how we were brought up. Right? So sometimes we just got to take a little inventory. Re-examine ourselves. I know I did. I mean, I coming up, growing up and everything. I know, hey, I was cussing. I was just, up a storm, that kind of thing. And then I just kind of asked myself, I'm like, why exactly am I saying all this? And why am I talking like everyone else just to fit in, or just, does it feel natural to me? Is this, who I am? I got to say all these. That's all. Just, that's all. That's what it is. Think about this. What does it look like? Is it a good look? Okay, when you see some Hebrew Israelite teachings, right? And you see some elders well respected and things like that, and they're teaching a lesson, and in the midst of that lesson, they're using clean language or whatever. And I'll take a look at some of the other Israelite, teachings. They may be on the street or whatever, and they just cursing up a storm. It's not a good look, is it? It seems a little weird, right? It's just kind of, even if they're telling the truth. Now, I know some words that we use are not technically curse words. Some of them, we just kind of made them like that. Not technically a profanity. I get it. I know some of them. I know what a lot of them mean. I know the root word. I looked them all up, stuff like that. I'm just saying, is it a good look? How does it look? Does it represent the Most High world? If we're supposed to be all ambassadors, if we're all supposed to be the sons of the Most High Yah, how does it look? Let's continue. We're going to go over to Proverbs real quick. And when we go to Proverbs, we're going to go to chapter 18 in Proverbs. Chapter 18 in Proverbs. We're going to jump around a little bit. Let's start at 4. It says, the words of a man's mouth are as deep waters, and the wellspring of wisdom as a flowing brook. We're going to jump around 6 through 8. The fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. Hey, people, their mouth write checks their body can't cash. Verse 7. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. Sometimes, you can be arrested or something like that, and then, you stopped. You got two options. You can go absolutely nuts, go hog wild, go crazy, poke the police officer in the check and say, hey, I pay your taxes and everything. What is your name? I want the name of your supervisor. Why'd you stop me? You can get belligerent. You can do all of that. Or you can comply. You can be respectful. Is everything all right, officer? What can I do for you? This and that. Now, I'm not saying that, hey, you can control the behavior of these cops or anything like that. I understand. But I'm just saying, which outcome do you want? Which do you think would have the most favorable outcome? Which one would produce the most favorable outcome? You being belligerent or you being respectful? Right? That's just an example. Or if you're standing in court, standing in front of a judge, which outcome you think would be most favorable? Being belligerent or being respectful? Using respectful language. Now, like I said, I don't know. Just which one do you think you can make matters worse? Because I know a lot of us sometimes when we want to make a point, we go run to the extreme. Oh, well, a police officer can do this to you and do all that. I get it. But I'm just talking about generally. That's all. I'm just talking about generally. So I'm just saying, Sometimes our mouth causes strokes. Verse 8. Verse 8, the words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Okay, so this is like a gossip monger, someone who want to run around and defame you. Tell me in the comment section below, has somebody ever defamed you? Anybody lied on you? You know, assassinated your character? Has that happened? Kind of sucks, doesn't it? Words mean something. In fact, I think it's so asinine for someone to think that words don't mean nothing. You know, that old nursery rhyme, sticks and stones bring wrong. Okay, this whole profession of, you know, counseling and psychology and all that, it would mean nothing. Words mean something. So even to say things like that, or to imply that words doesn't mean anything, remember, and words mean so much that they want to silence your words. They want to silence your opinion on something that today you can't. We say we have freedom of speech, but that freedom of speech comes with a price, right? And I'm not talking about the people in the military, right? You can say what you want to say, and everything is hate speech, or you can get canceled. We have a run of cancel culture and stuff. It means something. You can't call somebody what they are. You gotta figure out what pronouns and all that. So no. Words actually do mean things, regardless if other people want to change the definition. But words mean things, and it carries some weight. (13) He that answered a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. This happens a lot. And what I mean by that is that you get a ton of people who weigh in on the matter and don't even hear the other side. Brothers and sisters, no matter how thin the pancake is, there's always two sides. But yet we always want to chime in. We hear a little something to get in our feelings. You know, we get offended. We listen for something that triggers us. And then we start flying off at the mouth. We just can't seem to watch our mouth. Get triggered, and then we're off to the races. We ready, we ready with anybody say anything. Come at me, bro. Come at me. You want some of this? Mad face, anger. Looking at you crazy. Or you looking at them crazy. Anything. Whether it be them or you. Y'all mean mugging each other and stuff. I mean, just anything. Get in the world. It's a crazy, crazy world we're living in. Crazy world. 15. The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. Okay, that's what we should be doing. But I'm going to do 20 and 21. 20. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. We have that power to speak into our lives because it means something. The reason why we have this scripture, it's not just a little pretty little saying. It means something. It carries weight. You think about this. I won't put it on your children. I'll put it on you. What did your parents say to you? How did they encourage you? Was it always negative? Was it always positive? Was it a mix of both? Did it carry a lot of weight when your parents was either negative or positive to you? I know some of us, we had parents who were just focused on the negative and things like that, right? But there's a few of you out there who had parents who would build you up, who would edify you, who tell you that you are special and you're going to turn out and be something in your life, that they believe in you. How did that affect you? Or we can swing the pendulum to the other side and we can ask, how did that negative feedback, how did that affect you? I remember one time I had heard a story of these two people who grew up pretty much in the same house. They were brothers. They grew up in the same house, and one would say, hey, they looked at their father, and the father was abusive and cruel and brutal. And he would say all these different things. He would say all these different things, very, very, very unflattering things, whether it be about them, whether it be about their mother, things like that. The two sons grew up. One grew up and was just like his father. The father would tell, both of them the same thing. You'll never amount to nothing. You're a waste of flesh. You're a loser and all this, right? But pretty much tell both of them that. One grew up and was just like his father. The other one, same father, grew up and was the opposite. So how these words affect us, it depends on the person. It depends on the person. Some people work by a push. Some people work by a pull. But we really need to watch our words. We really, really, really have to watch our mouth. Think about this. There's some words, there's some things that affected you. Let me put it this way. There's some things that affected you, that affect you to this day, that someone said to you, that if you went to them and told them, they wouldn't even remember what they said. They wouldn't even remember what you're talking about. Can somebody say amen on that? Can somebody comment on that? There's somebody that you're like, what? But it affected you so deeply to where it has not even left you yet. And here you are as an adult, all these years later. And they may not even remember what they said or how it did affect you, right? Because maybe you haven't spoken or something like that. Some of you may have confronted a person, said, you know what, all these XYZ years ago, you said ABC. And they're like, what? And some may remember, and then they're like, I didn't know that affected you like that. Some of you may have been in counseling and then some things came out, and then the other person, you have to confront the other person or whatever, or you go in together or whatever, and then you realize, and then they realize, they say the same thing. They're like, oh, I did not know that I didn't know that affected you. I had no idea. Point is, words carry weight. Your words have power. It can build up someone's life, or it can destroy them. That's why we had this thing of defamation of character, slander, things like that. Because it can hurt you. It can have an actual real effect on your life, mentally, emotionally, or physically. Proverbs 29. 29 and 11. 29:11 says this: a fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards. He waits. Sometimes the smartest thing we can say is nothing. Sometimes silence is wisdom. No words is wisdom. Some of us need to ban ourselves from words for a little while. Sometimes we abuse our words. We just keep flying off at the mouth. And we do not watch our words. We don't watch our mouth. Let's keep it going. Okay, let's go back to Proverbs 17. We got a lot of Proverbs, and then we're going to go to Psalms. So Proverbs 17, when we get there, we're going to start 27 to 27 and 28. 17, 27, 28. 27 says this: he that has knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. He spareth his words. Man of few words, right? Think more than speaking, right? 28. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise. And he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding, just by being quiet. You're in a room. Imagine you're in a room, and everybody is yapping, just chatter, and you see that one person who's not saying anything. He didn't have a whole lot to say, or she doesn't have a whole lot to say, and we may esteem him as wise because they're probably thinking, contemplating, considering everything that's going on, really analyzing. Or they could be someone who should be in the corner drooling in a cup, but we'll never know. They didn't say anything. Count it as wise. Count it as wise. Sometimes saying nothing is the best thing. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms chapter 12, if you will. Psalms chapter 12. And we'll just read first 4 verses. Help, Lord, for the godly man ceases, for the faithful fell from among the children of men. They speak vanity, every one with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Arrogant, haughty, proud things, right? Verse 4. We have said, with our tongue will we prevail. Our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us? Talking a big, big game. Uh-oh, watch it. Who is Lord over us? So now when you're in that day, keep that same energy. You were talking all that. And then, and when you stand in the judgment, okay, and Hamashiach is going to be like, okay, so I'm sorry, what were you saying? What was that? I didn't hear you. What'd you say? Because I could have swore you were saying this or that. What was that again? Let's keep that in mind. Okay. So we have Psalms 15, 1 through 5. Okay. Psalm 15, 1 through 5. Verse 1, it says, Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly and worketh righteousness and speaketh the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor, in whose eyes a vile person is contemned. But he honored them that feared the Lord. He that sweareth to his own hurt and changeth not. Who sweareth to his own hurt and changes not. He that putteth not out his money to usury, okay, interest, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that do these things shall never be moved. Okay. Now notice over in 3, and it says, he that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor or something. Okay, you don't want to backbite with your tongue. We're going to watch it. Unfortunately, I have to say that there are brethren out there that do a lot of backbiting, that do a lot of talebearing, that will say things about you that may not be true. That may not be true. And they will, just because they may not like you. Now, they're going to have to give an account for every idle word because they're saying things that they don't even know is true or not. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that if you don't know something, don't speak on those things. Don't speak on those matters that you know nothing of if you don't know for sure. Don't be a talebearer. Don't keep putting forth and pushing this narrative. Discontinue from that folly. Because you're going to have an account for every idle word. You and I, we have to have an account for every idle word. If I don't really know what's going on. And then what would be the purpose? What would be the purpose? If I tell someone something about another brother, now if I'm warning someone of danger, okay, I get it. If I'm sparing someone hurt, I get it. Then it merits you sharing the information if you're trying to prevent someone from hurt. But if it doesn't, and it only satisfies your need to gossip, you got to give an account for every idle word. Let's keep going. All right, we're going to go to the book of Judges, chapter 11. Book of Judges, chapter 11. When we get there, we're going to look at verses 20, or start at verses 29. Start at verse 29. It says, Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he passed over Gilead and Manasseh, and passed over Mizpah of Gilead. And from Mizpah of Gilead he passed over unto the children of Ammon. And Jephthah vowed a vow unto the Lord and said, if thou shalt without fail deliver the children of Ammon into my hands, then it shall be that whatsoever cometh forth of the doors of my house to meet me, when I return in peace from the children of Ammon, shall surely be the Lord's, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering. So Jephthah passed over unto the children of Ammon to fight against them, and the Lord delivered them into his hands, and he smote them from Orior even till thou come to Minnith, even 20 cities, and unto the plain of the vineyards with a very great slaughter. Thus the children of Ammon were subdued before the children of Israel. And Jephthah came to Mizpah unto his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances, and she was his only child. Beside her he had neither son nor daughter. And it came to pass, when he saw her, that he rent his clothes and said, Alas, my daughter, thou hast brought me very low, and thou art one of them that trouble me. For I have opened my mouth unto the Lord, and I cannot go back. And she said unto him, My father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto the Lord, do to me according to that which has proceeded out of thy mouth, forasmuch as the Lord has taken vengeance for thee of thine enemies, even of the children of Ammon. And she said unto her father, Let this thing be done for me, and let me alone 2 months, that I may go up and down upon the mountains and bewail my virginity, I and my fellows. And he said, Go. And he sent her away for 2 months, and she went with her companions and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains. And it came to pass at the end of 2 months that she returned unto her father, who did with her according to his vow, which he had vowed. And she knew no man, and it was a custom in Israel, that the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite 4 days in a year. It's because he vowed a vow, every idle word, and he had to keep that vow of offering his daughter up, as a burnt offering. And he couldn't go back on it. You have to keep your word to the Most High. Therefore, speak carefully. We have to give an account for every idle word. How many times, and this is a vow, but how many times do we just nonchalantly make these promises? How many times people have been drunk and praying to the porcelain gods and making vows, oh, I'll never drink again, knowing it was a lie when it came out of their mouth. Breaking these vows is lie, makes us a liar. You tell me, brothers and sisters. We're going to see. We're going to keep going. We're going to see if this is important to the Most High. We're just going to see, right? Let's go to Numbers 30. You guys know about this one. How powerful it is. Numbers 30. How powerful. Okay. Numbers 30. Numbers 30, we're going to do basically we'll pretty much do all of Numbers 30, but look at this. Okay? We already know that the Most High this is a quick aside, okay? Small digression. The Most High want his daughters of Zion, to be taken care of or covered from cradle to grave. At first, she is in her father's house under his authority, protection, and provision. Then from there, she moves to her husband's house under his authority, protection, and provision. I just want you guys to remember that, because a lot of women, they think, oh, the Bible is oppressive or patriarchal or whatever, right? Okay, fine. Why do you want to look at it as a negative thing? I don't know. The Most High wants you to be covered and protected and provided for from cradle to grave. And this chapter alone is going to point some of that out to you, but we're going to focus on this whole idea of a vow, right? Numbers 30 verse 1, it says, And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribe concerning the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which the Lord has commanded. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, I swear to the Most High, I promise. Okay, you're making a covenant, an agreement, a vow. He shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeded out of his mouth. You still want to use your lips freely like that? Verse 3. And if a woman also vow unto the Lord and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house in her youth, her father hear her vow and her bond wherewith she has bound her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she has bound her soul shall stand. But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth not any of her vows or of her bonds wherewith she has bound her soul shall stand, and the Lord shall forgive her because her father disallowed it. Now remember, in the day he hears it, not the day she made it. She can tell him about it 2 weeks, 2 months later or something like that, and he can disavow it, right? Verse 6. Now, it switched from her father's house to her husband. Verse 6. And if she had at all a husband when she vowed, or uttered out of her lips wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband heard it and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vows shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband disallow her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips wherewith she bound her soul, of none effect, and the Lord shall forgive her. But every vow of a widow and of her that is divorced, wherewith they have bound their souls, shall stand against her. Okay, you're a widow or you're divorced, meaning you're not covered anymore. It's on you. It's on you. All right. 10. And if she vowed in her husband's house or bound her soul by a bond with an oath, and her husband heard it and held his peace at her and disallowed her not, then all her vows shall stand, and every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. But if her husband has utterly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatsoever proceeded out of her mouth or out of her lips concerning her vows or concerning the bond of her soul shall not stand. Her husband has made them void, and the Lord shall forgive her. Notice that a man can do that for his wife, but a wife cannot do that for her husband. See, this is a perfect example. I mean, I understand, this is going to be so wrong, old-fashioned, misogynistic, all that. But this kind of tells me it's kind of hard to have a woman be the head of a household. Woman, you have your women preachers and pastors and things like that, but yet she cannot do this. How can all of a sudden she be in a position above her husband, above a congregation, above all? Now, I understand, I don't know, Deborah and all that, but she still can't do this. Still can't be the head. Still can't be in the lead. And I know that's going to trigger some people, make them feel some type of way or whatever, but it's just learning something on the way to learning something. I digress. Let me get back to the point of this. 13. Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. See, it only works one way, right? 14. But if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from day to day, then he establisheth all her vows or all her bonds which are upon her. He confirmed them, because he held his peace at her in the day that he heard them. But if he shall any ways make them void after he has heard them, then he shall bear her iniquity. Whoa, wait a minute again. So if he does this, he disavow or basically change his mind, he is going to have to bear her iniquity. He, a husband, has to pay for the sins of the wife because he changed his mind. Can a wife do that for a husband? Huh. Interesting. These are the statutes which the Lord commanded Moses between a man and his wife, between the father and his daughter, being yet in her youth in her father's house. This is how it goes when it comes to vows. What you say matters. Now remember, nobody can disavow of a man. You say what you got to say. You keep your word. That's it. That's against you. That's why it's, when people take that Nazarite vow, I'm going to promise I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I ain't going to cut my hair. I won't drink wine, nothing from the vine, no grapes, none of that, all, so on and so forth. You guys know what it is. and you break that, kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. Let's keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. We have got to be so careful. Matthew chapter 5. Let's go back to the New Testament, if you will. Matthew chapter 5. And we're going to look at verse 33. 33, we're going to do 33 to 37. 33 says this. Again, you have heard that it had been said by them of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shall perform unto the Lord thine oaths. We just kind of read that over in Numbers, right? But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou cannot make one hair white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil, meaning you can get yourself in trouble. You can face judgment. You can let your mouth write a check that you don't want your body to cash. How deep into this are we getting? I hope somebody's getting something out of this. How deep into this are we getting? Okay, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We're going to go to Ecclesiastes 5. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 5. Ecclesiastes 5, chapter 5. And when we get there, we're going to do the first 7 verses. Ecclesiastes 5, 7, starting at 1, which says this. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let thine heart be hasty to utter anything before God, for God is in heaven, and thou upon earth. Therefore, let thy words be few. I gotta let that resonate a little bit. Let thy words be few. For a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by a multitude of words. A fool's voice is known by a multitude of words. When thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Pay that which thou hast vowed. I'm trying to stress this to you guys. Okay, I'm trying to stress this to you. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow, that thou shouldest vow and not pay. What did the Mashiach say? Just let your yea be yea, your nay be nay. Anything more than this could spell big trouble. Okay? Could spell big trouble. Suffer not that thy mouth that caused flesh to sin, neither say thou before the angel. Oh, see, look who else is listening in on your little vows. That it was an error. Wherefore should God be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thy hands? For in the multitude of dreams and many words there are also diverse vanities. But fear thou Yah. Fear thy God. Fear thy Elohim. Fear him with these words. Oh, I said what I said. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. I'm gonna speak my mind. Okay. Keep that same energy. Keep the same energy. Okay. We're going to keep it pushing. Malachi 3. Malachi 3. And when we get there, we're going to do 16 to 18. 16 says this. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it. And the book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord, and that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, said the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels. And I will spare them as a man spared his own son that served him. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth God and him that serveth him not. Okay, he's just letting us know. Him that serveth God, him that serveth him not. He's gonna go ahead and when he's returned, okay? We say a lot of things, and you guys know the old black and white Lucille Ball show, I Love Lucy, right? Lucy, you got some splaining to do, right? You guys remember, well, old school, you remember that. Okay? The younger generation, they don't remember that, but the old school, they remember that. We have got to watch our words because we are going to have some explaining to do in the day of judgment, right? Ephesians 4. Ephesians 4. We'll start at 25. Jump around a little bit. Ephesians 4:25 says this. Wherefore, putting away lying, speaking every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon thy wrath, neither give place to the devil. Right? And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump down. After 27, I'm going to jump down to 29. Let no corrupt communications proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. That it may minister grace unto the hearers. Okay? Don't let this evil communicate just because you're upset, because you feel some type of way, and you go and I'm just trying to I'm trying to warn all my brothers and sisters that it could get ugly for us just based on the things that we say. Sometimes we get a little self-righteous and we think that, oh, we're doing great and all that, but what about some of the words that we're saying? Give an account for every idle word. Okay, we'll go to Ephesians. Hold on, no, we're not. 1 Peter. 1 Peter 3. And when we get there, we're going to read just the first two verses. Okay. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wives, or the lifestyle of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Okay, even without words. See, a lot of time a woman's wisdom is when she doesn't say anything. Obviously, one of the greatest prizes, one of the greatest things that a husband prizes in his wife is that peace, that meekness, that quietness, right? And sometimes we as men, we can get a little off track. We can get a little bit off track. But sometimes our helpmeet, our lionesses, can win us back just by their conversation, just by their lifestyle, just by them doing what they can to please the Most High, still being a wife to us and doing things that makes the Most High smile. And then all of a sudden we have to observe that, and we have to be like, whoa, maybe I need to straighten up. Hold on. Maybe I need to check myself. Because the Spirit may be working through her because she's still being a wife. All because she's not even saying a word. She's just doing what she should be doing as a wife. She's being led by the Ruach. Let's continue. We're going to go to 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians. When you get there, we're going to go to chapter 4, and I'm just going to read 9 through 12, which reads, But as touching brotherly love, ye need not that I write unto you, for ye yourselves are taught of God to love one another. And indeed, you do it toward all the brethren which are in all Macedonia. But we beseech you, brethren, that ye increase more and more, and that ye study to be quiet, and to do your own business, and to work with your own hands as we commanded you, that you may walk honestly toward them that are without, and that ye may have lack of nothing. That you may have lack of nothing. He just wants us to do what we should be doing. Okay, we do 9 through 12. But as touching the brotherly love, ye need not that I write unto you, for ye yourselves are taught of God to love one another. We should be loving one another, and that's keeping the commandments. You don't know where to start. Try the last 6 of the 10, right? And indeed, ye do it toward all the brethren which are in all of Macedonia. We beseech you, brethren, that you increase more and more. See, well wishing. And that you study to be quiet and to do your own business and to work with your own hands as we commanded you. Being dutiful, working with your own hands. You're not lazy. You're doing what you should be doing. That you may walk honestly toward them that are without, those who look at you, and that they can watch your chaste conversation. And that ye may have lack of nothing, giving you blessings and well wishings, because you are trying to walk in righteousness, all the while holding your tongue. All the while. Psalm 34, brothers and sisters. Psalm 34. Psalm 34. And I really just need one verse out of there, which would be 13, which reads, keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile. Keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile. And you know, the reason why the Bible points this out is because it means something. Because what we say, our mouth, our lips, can cause our own death. It means something. It is weighty. I hope by now you guys get in the gravitas of the situation. It's very, very important. Very, very important that we watch our mouth. We watch what we say. That we use our words wisely. Very important. We just got a couple of more places and then we're going to get on out of here. If any scriptures I miss, you check the description box below. And if I don't get to anyone trying to stay within these time constraints, then you go ahead and read them. And that is your homework assignment. But we may or may not finish it. Let's just take a look. Okay. 1 Samuel 31. I want to look at something. This is a be careful what you wish for type of thing. 1 Samuel. Your words can condemn you. 1 Samuel 31. Watch your words. 1 Samuel 31, we're going to read 1 through 6. It says, now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain at Mount Gilboa. Then the Philistines followed hard upon Saul and upon his sons. And the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab and Melchishua, Saul's son, Melchishua. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was sore wounded of the archers. Then said Saul unto his armor-bearer, draw thy sword and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and thrust me through and abuse me. But his armor-bearer would not, for he was so afraid. Therefore Saul took a sword and fell upon it. Now, you guys just heard what happened to Saul, right? Verse 5. And when his armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise upon his sword and died with him. So Saul died, and his 3 sons, and his armor-bearer, and all his men, that same day together. So now you just read what actually happened, right? Now watch this. 2 Samuel 1, and we're going to read 1 through 16. Now it came to pass after the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and David had abode 2 days in Ziklag. It came even to pass on the 3rd day that, behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul with his clothes rent and earth upon his head. And so it was, when he came to David, that he fell to the earth and did obeisance. I mean, he genuflected before him, right? Then paid some respect. And David said unto him, from whence comest thou? And he said unto him, out of the camp of Israel am I escaped. And David said unto him, how went the matter? I pray thee, tell me. And he answered, that the people were fled from the battle, and many of the people also are fallen and dead. And Saul and Jonathan his son are dead also. And David said unto the young man that told him, how knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan his son be dead? Listen to what he said. And the young man that told him said, as I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me and came unto me. And I answered, here am I. And he said unto me, who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. Yeesh. And he said unto me again, stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. So I stood upon him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head, and the bracelet that was on his arm, and had brought them hither unto my Lord. Then David took hold of his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. This is when you hear that dun dun dun. Watch what you say. Watch what you say. Verse 12. And they mourned and they wept, fastened until even for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord, and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword. And David said unto the young man that told him, whence art thou? And he answered, I am the son of a stranger and a Malachite. Oh, Malachite. Okay, they're at war with the Malachites. You're a Malachite. Well, they're at war with the Philistines, and David was fighting the Malachites. But then now you want to take credit for the death of an Israelite. And you come to tell another Israelite from Judah, David. Good luck with that. All right. So 14. And David said unto him, how wast thou not afraid to stretch forth thy hand to destroy the Lord's anointed? And David called one of the young men and said, go near and fall upon him. And he smote him that he died. And David said unto him, thy blood be upon thy head. Why? For thy mouth has testified against thee, saying, I have slain the Lord's anointed. Because your mouth testified. Didn't I tell you your words can get you killed? You want to lie? You want to take credit for that? Your words could get you killed. Now, you guys read how Saul actually perished. And then, careful what you wish for. Careful what you wish for. All right, let's go ahead and do Matthew 15, and then I'll let you guys read the other matters on your own. Matthew 15. Matthew 15. Matthew 15. All right, so we're going to jump around a little bit. First two verses. Then came Jesus, scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do thy disciples transgress tradition of the elders, that they wash not their hands when they eat bread? Okay, so we're going to get it established right there. Now we're going to drop down to 7 through 11. Ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, this people draw nigh unto me with their mouth, and honor me with their what? Lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Okay, you guys catching that? And he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand. Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man. Now you start to understand that which comes out of the mouth defileth a man, can get you in trouble, can get you caught up. Okay? That's what defileth a man. Now we're going to go to 17 to 20. Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever enter in at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast out into the draught? But those things which proceeded out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile a man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, theft, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man. See, he was talking about unwashed hands. A lot of people like to use that for even eating unclean foods. He said unwashed hands. That's, but that's a whole matter, different matter altogether. Are we starting to get it, brothers and sisters? Are we starting to understand? What we say is really, really important. What we say can really get us cut off. What we say is matter. Our words, remember, it used to be a word contract, a handshake, and the person's word was supposed to mean something. Word was bond, right? As it were. Word was bond. It wasn't until later, because people had a hard time actually keeping their word, that you had to put it a written contract, that you have to have a written contract, a written agreement. a time long ago in a land far, far away, you were able to, hey, someone told you something, you were able to take it to the bank because a person's word meant something. Not so much today. Not so much today. So for those who want to say what they want to say, and think nothing is going to happen, it's no big deal. Those who want to make a vow and break it. Those who want to lie, those who want to gossip, they want to talebear. They want to do those things, backbiting. Just speak reckless with their mouth. We have to give an account for every idle word. So, if it doesn't matter, in the day of judgment, keep that energy. Keep that same energy. So we'll all be there to take a look. We'll all be there to see it on the day of judgment. So, with that, I hope somebody's been edified. So until next time, search the scriptures and prove all things. Shalom, Israel.